My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And before we get started, I know that we know that this week has been a bit fraught in the K-pop world, what with all of these chat scandals happening. And because of this, we did decide to remove our YG FSO episode because we didn't feel comfortable having such a Seungri-centered episode still in our roster after all of the horrible things that he has been involved in. So we just wanted to make note of that before we get started on today's episode. But on to fun things. Today's episode is a Q&A with us, the Nunas. Yay!
Yay!
So we asked Twitter for a bunch of questions, and y'all delivered about things that you wanted to know. Now, why are we doing this? Because we hit 1,000 listens! Yay!
Yay! You like us!
You like us. You really like us. But before we get on that, time for our usual first segment. What's everyone been watching? Amanda?
Well, let me see. I rewatched Two Moons this week because I needed something light and fluffy and just easy to watch, and that is easy to watch. And also, I fast forward to about 2/3 of it, so it goes quickly. Although not as quickly as I think it should. Like, I'm always like, oh, there's only like 3 episodes left. I'll be done that in an hour. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, I should have gone to bed a while ago. But whatever. It's still good. It's so cute. And they're just so cute. I'm still watching like all the other stuff that I've mentioned previous weeks, sort of. I'm kind of behind in like everything right now. So I'll catch up eventually, maybe. And I started watching Caution Hazardous Wife with my sister this week, which we're about an episode and a half in, and it's fabulous. Absolutely wonderful. It's sort of, the premise is sort of like, if you've seen that movie Long Kiss Goodnight from the 90s, where she's like a super spy assassin or whatever, who has amnesia. And except for in this case, the girl does not have amnesia. She has made the conscious decision that she just wants to have like a nice, comfortable life. She wants to get married and raise kids and stop killing people. So she like fakes her own death so she can go off, and she gets a job doing something and goes to a mixer and meets a guy. And 3 months later, she gets married and becomes a happy housewife. And 6 months after that, she is bored to tears. And she's a horrible cook, so her husband like eats out every night. So she's lonely and she's bored, and they're not really doing stuff together anymore. So they're not really having sex, and she's like sad and lonely. And she meets 2 of her friends, like 2 neighbors, who are housewives who are going through a similar sort of dry spell in their marriage. Mm-hmm. And they start joining culture classes. Like in the first episode, it's all based around she, being a former assassin, recognizes immediately that the one girl in their class is being abused. The 3 women decide to like befriend her, and just eventually she'll come to us. And so it's a whole thing about
sisterhood and
sisterhood and friendship, and the fact that she can totally take this guy out. So, like, at one point, she keeps saying to the girl, do you want me to fix this for you? And she's like, no, I'm fine. Do you want me to fix this for you? No, I'm fine. Do you want me to fix? And finally, she's like, she says to her, what do you want? Like, do you want him dead? Do you want him, like, what do you need here?
Because I can do any of that.
I just need a divorce. I just need him out of my life. Like, the reality is, the underlying story is these 3 bored, horny housewives who like can't get their husband's attention, like literally. So yeah, it's basically just the story of these 3 wives like taking classes to try and like seduce their husbands and get them to like sex with them.
That sounds amazing.
You only get in a J drama. You never get that in a K drama.
Oh no, no.
How about you, Nat? Or no, Jess?
Yes.
Jessie.
Well, I've been super busy, and literally the only thing that I've watched is the 2 episodes of the show we're going to talk about. The only other time I had any time to watch anything, I just spent it on YouTube, because I do that a lot, because I've been like actively watching YouTube since like 2006, so that will never change. I'll just like randomly put on YouTube for not even like Asian entertainment. I was literally watching sewing videos and pining over a sewing machine that I want that's like $700 that I can't afford. But yeah, that's like it. That's all I've done besides work. I'm not caught up in anything. I'm behind a romance and Touch Your Heart. I didn't watch any more of Pretty Proofreader. None of that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Life.
Life.
Well, for me, I was watching a Thai drama on Netflix called Innocence. It was pretty good. I'm like at the part where like everyone has misunderstandings, so like they all break up. Like, yeah, I know. Like, so it's kind of I'm like I needed a break from that because I was like too depressing. So I too rewatched Two Moons again. This is funny because I rewatched Two Moons 2 weeks ago. And just how life works for me sometimes. I have it on my phone, like it's saved on my phone permanently, so that when I'm sad, I'm just like, let's turn on the last episode of Two Moons. Like, that'll cheer me up. And it always does. Like, so fluffy, so cute. And then I also watched the first episode of Kingdom, and I have the rest saved on my phone to watch on the train tomorrow. We're going to see all those hats that American Twitter was a buzz about. What about you, Sky? What have you been watching?
I'm caught up. I guess I'm not totally caught up with Touch Your Heart because it comes out today.
I was just watching it before we started recording.
I think I'm behind one on Radiant, The Light in Your Eyes, which evidently, here's what happened. Not even plot-wise. There's supposed to be this big twist, and I thought it was in episode 9. So, like, the whole episode, I was like, where's the big twist that I want to know about? And it's in episode 10 that wasn't, they're being super slow subbing it. So
Classic capers.
So I'm just like, oh, okay, I get to wait longer. That's fine. And I'm still liking that. It's just, so there's this huge thing that I have no idea what's going on. So, I'm behind on The Fiery Priest by a lot, but I'm just going to smush that in whenever. It's fun, but I did watch one episode of Big Issue. Okay. I never say I'm bored. Like, I'm just not. It's tough for me to get bored. But it's funny because they were doing. I like action stuff. And they were doing excessive amounts of action for a paparazzi picture. And it was a really, really long scenes of it. Long, drawn out. And it was only like, I think it was a 30-minute episode, maybe 45. I think it was 30. But it felt so long. Like, the whole episode felt so long. And then I started the second episode, and I'm like, I just can't get down with it. I mean, I'm probably going to drop it. I'll probably try it again, though. There just hasn't been enough. I can see why some people like it, but, like, just the subject matter just isn't. And it's kind of saucy a little bit, but I don't think... It's just not, I don't know. It's just not attracting me very much, which I like lots of stuff. So it takes a lot for me to be like, eh. So I'll probably just end this.
I wanted to watch that.
Same.
I liked, I watched the first couple episodes of, what is that, Bad Guys 2, and Joo Jin-moo was in that, and, like, he's lovely, and I really wanted to watch it for him, but, yeah, I just couldn't. And so, yeah, I was hoping that this would be like delightful fun so I could enjoy him in
and
that.
it might be they're having to build up the premise and then it's fun after that. But it's hard for me to get totally on board with like, yay, paparazzi, just because like I don't know, it's not a part of an occupation that I really, but it's not like I love lawyer stuff either, and I'll watch a ton of courtroom.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, lawyers can do good things. Paparazzi, they're kind of like a pestilence on the photography world, let's be honest.
Well, that's the thing. They're trying to give this guy purpose, and there's backstory, personal backstory, and tragedy, and so, I mean, they're trying to give depth to that, and so I get it, but, like, still, I don't know. It's just not...
Yeah. It's like trying to make, TMZ seem, like.
But you could make someone seem very human that works that job.
But their job is just so weaselly that I just.
Yeah, it's kind of when you have so much dispatch crap come through, it's a little hard to watch a drama that's oh yeah, dispatch. Let's make them the heroes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
sure,
there was something I wanted, and I'm way behind on the Golden Eyes, but I've just accepted that fact, and that I'll just wait.
That's just.
Oh, we all will be. So I have been watching that. I forgot to mention it. I have kept up with it, and not kept up. I'm 6 episodes behind, but they go really quickly. And being 6 episodes behind is not like being 6 episodes behind on there's 5 episodes a week. It's really.
It's like being 2 episodes behind.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's still amazing. So after there's a brief actiony bit, he's back to appraising rocks.
Yes.
Yay!
Starting a long time with him learning the art of jade appraising, and I'm just this is amazing.
So excited.
Show that's never been made.
That's what we need, man.
It's all we wanted.
I literally just want to watch Lay be at a rock auction, picking the best rock, gamble rocks where you don't know how much jade's on the inside.
I was watching those ones, the gamble rocks.
I think you should go for this rock. I have a good feeling about it. And it's just all right. Now that we've gone over what we're currently watching, it's time for some Q&As, question with answers. Woo. So the first question came from our main man on Twitter, Ricky. We love Ricky. We just love Ricky.
We do.
So his question was, what is our origin story? Now, it's a very organic situation that I believe began with Jesse and myself.
Okay. Yes. Kind of.
Kind of. There's a whole process that happened. It wasn't there was multiple group chats that led to the final group chat.
I had friended all of you, and I'm sure all of you had friended each other or whatever, and I had talked to each of you variously. And there was, I think Drama Current tagged me in a thread where someone was like, hey, I need to find new people to follow.
Yeah.
And so then that brought me there, and I was like, oh, well, while I'm here, I'll tag some people.
And then you tagged me, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
I'm a drama
tagged you all.
Oh my goodness. It was I wish I was kidding about this, but I immediately turned to my husband and I was like, Briggsy, I've arrived. No one cares about my opinions on the internet.
You didn't even know where that was gonna go.
No, I didn't. It was all innocent in those early days.
No, but we I think a lot of people kind of showed up on that thread, and we all got along really well. We were all very happy that day too. It was a very fun day for all of us.
Then we started a group chat. There was the OG group chat that had
and then
20 people in it.
But before that, during one of our thread comments, threads, I'm pretty sure we have a picture of it, and then we found out it was Natalia said.
Jokingly said. We should start a podcast. He.
And I was like, well, don't tell me that, because I'll want to do that. And then literally a week later, it was so hey, about that podcast.
It was a week later, and I believe it was Sky who put the 4 of us in a group chat and was like, were you all serious about that there podcast? Because, I need some friends.
No. You guys are accelerating time a little too fast.
Okay, maybe.
We're trying to make us seem like we were just best friends from the moment we actually kind of were, though. We all clicked very fast.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long.
We honestly had not talked that much before all of a sudden Natalia was like, hey, podcast, and we're like, maybe. We actually said that in public tweets.
Yeah,
the fact that we were okay.
At the time, I was kidding. I didn't think it would actually lead to a podcast. I'm gonna be honest.
They've learned by now is they can't just say things like that to me and then expect it not to bite in the butt later.
I mean, we had a group chat with a lot of people for a very long time.
Yes.
But it wasn't that long. It was
only
a
a
couple
week
of
and a
weeks too.
Yeah.
It was like a month or so.
It wasn't a month. It was not a month. It was definitely not a month. You jumped the gun. You wanted us so bad, Sky. You wanted some friends.
There was plenty of time to figure out personalities and all types of. I mean, I was
know.
like calculating.
She was analyzing.
I was.
This is what we didn't know. Sky was analyzing us all in the group chat to
was.
who was the best. We were the creme de la creme for podcasts.
Oh no,
personally picked us.
Yes, but no.
And picked us for this podcast.
Oh, to be fair, a lot of the other people who were in that group chat already had like podcasts and things, YouTube channels and stuff that they were doing.
We
were probably
purposely like pushed aside someone. We were
No. There really wasn't anyone rejected.
Losers left over without going on.
All right, who are the losers who don't already have friends on a podcast? Let's get together.
Because it was like a couple weeks because we did spend like a month figuring out what we were going to do with the podcast.
Yeah.
But there really was only like 4 or 5 months between me actually joining Twitter for specifically Asian content and us putting out our first episodes.
The world moves fast when you're not paying attention. Nah, the time goes fast when you're having fun. Am I right, ladies? So yeah, it was really organic and just sort of kismety.
I don't remember who figured out the name.
Oh, that was the longest part. And the reason we decided... Yes, because this is the origin of the name, Certified Nunas. I remember specifically because I was involved in this in a more technical aspect. Amanda had seen someone at the gym who had a shirt that said Certified Ninja. And she was like, and had her brain rewrote that to Certified Nuna, and she thought that was hilarious. So she asked me to design a t-shirt that said Certified Nunas that she could get to wear at the gym. And then we were like, that would be a great podcast name. And I think I made like 5 different versions of the shirt. Like, there was a lot of versions of the shirt until I was like, I don't really like this one. Maybe I'll try this. So there was many versions of the Certified Nuna shirt that some of which still exist in the Soju Night shop, which you can buy lots of merchandise. Not sponsored. Actually, yes, sponsored. Myself. Yeah. And then we were like, that would be a great name. And then we were jokingly said, your oppas call us Nuna, which I always laughed at because that was a line from a Jessie song. The line from it's one of the lines in Spirit Animal by Jessie. So I always thought that was hilarious.
I didn't know it was an actual line from.
Yes, it's an actual.
Do we have a theme song and we didn't even know it?
Yeah, like I'm totally unaware.
Well, like I'm gonna be honest. The themes, like the song Spirit Animal, I think more just describes me than it describes the rest of you. It's got real like unwarranted bad bitch energy, and if there's anyone who has like unjustified bad bitch energy in here, it's probably me. I'm terrible. So yeah, that's the history.
There was a nice awkward moment at some point where I did have to be like, hey, are we doing this or not? And then everyone was like, I don't know. I was kind of joking.
Because I never would have thought that someone would be like, yeah, do you want to do this with me? Like, I would have been like...
No, same. I was like, but
people,
it's like people actually care enough about my opinions to want to like be my friend on the internet? Like...
We barely know each other.
And meet me in person, and now we're like besties. Like, what happened? What's going on?
It really was like super fast. It just happened. And there was a little time we were trying to figure out everything and get everything like what we wanted to do essentially. And then like, you have to do all the boring technical stuff, like figure out email and social media and stuff. And then we're like, okay, let's do it. Yeah. And then here we are.
And this is several months later and thousand listens and we're still killing it. What? All right, Ricky. I hope you're happy with that, Ricky. You promised to finally listen to our podcast, so
we'll quiz you later.
All right. The next question. Her name is Natalia, but we call her Spanish Natalia because she is from Chile. So her question. We have several questions from her. We love her so much. We're like toys. And also her name's Natalia, so she's automatically awesome. So the next question was, what was your worst drama ending ever? Like, which ending did you hate the most?
Definitely Flower Boy Ramen Shop for me. That one is, rage all the time. Just, you know what? I hate a book, a movie, a drama, anything where I feel like you got to the end and it completely negated everything. And basically where she ends up is where she started.
Yeah.
It's like 16 hours never happened. Like, all the character growth is gone. All of the life change is gone. Everything
pointless.
Meant nothing. And that is the kind of ending that just makes me rage. And that was the ending for me, in my opinion. I know some people feel very differently about the end of that. For me, not so much.
Mine was probably Cheese in the Trap, which is why I have come up with the expression, you done got cheese in the trap, for when the ending of a drama is really bad. Because in sort of a similar sense, the ending just resolved nothing and was stupid, and I hated it. And it ruined the rest of the show. Like, the show, okay, I'm going to be honest, like, it might not be the best drama ever made, but it was fairly compelling, even though, like, the main dude was clearly a sociopath. But that was okay, because, like, it worked in the sense of the overall story of the story. But then, like, it wasn't resolved, and it literally made the rest, like, looking back on the drama, it made me not like it as much as I did while I was watching it. Because, like, I was, like, excited for each episode, and then when that last episode happened, I was like, kidding me? You kidding me with this, Korea? What the hell is this? What the hell?
It's neat, though, because for me, that was the same thing. It felt like they did a time jump, and it felt like she time jumped backwards, like all the character growth, all the change, all the everything.
Nothing made any sense.
It was gone.
All stupid. The other one that I get annoyed at is one that I don't think many people that I know have seen, and it was Secret Hotel. And the only reason I got so mad is because the main lead in that show was the biggest garbage person, like, just such a whiny little child, and Nam Goon Min played the, like, second male lead, and he was, like, better in literally every single way. And this girl, like, there was no way in this girl's personality that she would go back to her whiny, childlike, whiny little boy ex instead of this, like, accomplished hotelier who just wanted to be nice and handsome, and they had good chemistry. So, like, when I was like, really, you're gonna do this? You're gonna this man-child over this adult man? Are you kidding me with this? Like, no sane woman. It's the same problem with, like, the, ramen.
Flower Boy Ramen Shop.
No sane woman would pick the main lead on those shows. I'm still like, I think back on it and I'm like, God.
There's passion in these expressions, by the way, if you guys are missing out on.
There is.
Okay, so mine, I'm kind of cheating because it's not the end, but the show has currently 5 seasons. So, like,
oh, wow.
I can, like, fudge on this.
Yeah.
So, I really like Quiz from God. It's, like, a very episodic, like, drama, and the 3rd season, like, really made me want to cry, and I don't know how. I do know how I powered through it, but, like, if you've never watched the show, it's the episodes, there's something that happens, and every episode they're, like, the person who died or person who involved in the situation have some sort of disease. And it's, like, a very uncommon disease. And so that's, like, the main factor of the show, because the group of scientists working on these cases, that's their, like, main study. But they also would do this really great thing where they would tie in social prejudices around those diseases. And, like, you'd have, like, the whole episode and they're, like, figuring out, like, things going on castle style or, like, bone style. And then they come to the end And then there'd be this like really great moment where you're like talking about like how like society could have wronged the person, or the way that we perceive people, even if they're different, is wrong. And it had this like kind of really great thing. Mm-hmm. So first 2 seasons, great. Then season 3 comes around and they decided to change things up. They get rid of the lead female detective, and bring in another guy who is stupid cop, who doesn't believe that the kid is this smart, doesn't believe any of the doctors. And they literally, it's like they push all that like really sweet like social justice like aside in favor of it being like antics, and like the police department sucks. Like, I mean, like really, like it's like bumbling idiots nonstop, and you're like, but this is ridiculous. And so
that's annoying.
And I think what like the very telling thing about the show was that during the first 2 seasons, and they since picked it up, before they would do an autopsy, because that's what they mainly did in their department, they would have a moment of silence, and they like every episode you would see that moment of silence. 3rd season came around,
nothing.
No, nothing. That was like, you could tell that's like they wanted to take that out and put in more campiness, and it was so hard. But I am a weak human being, and Dong-hae is in season 4, and so I was pushing through to watch for Dong-hae in season 4, and that's the only reason like that I got through season 3. It picked back up, and then this past season has been like closer to the first 2 seasons, but that one, it really, like, I was so mad at the show. Other things I'm like about like the endings, but that I physically was like, this is not what you had in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Took away like the best part about it. It's not like the most well-written show, but it was so good and so sweet, and had those little moments where you're like, yes, you need to stop and think about what you're doing to people who don't look like you. You know, they could have a deformity, or they could, you know, have to do this because of their disease or whatever. But yeah, so mad at season 3.
So I don't think I have one, because usually by the time I get, well, first of all, I haven't watched as many dramas as you guys have. I haven't looked recently. Last I looked, it was like 66. So it's not like I haven't watched anything. I've watched some stuff. But usually by the time I'm getting miffed or just not engaged with it anymore, I drop it. Like, but also I'm pretty picky with what I say that. Older stuff, not currently airing stuff, I'm pretty good about kind of going where I know I'm probably going to be pleased in the first place.
Yeah.
I might challenge that at some point and watch something that I probably won't like, but as far as I look through reviews, if it doesn't seem like my type of thing, I won't watch it in the first place. I'll often try an episode or 2 and they'll be like, So I haven't gotten to an ending that I'm wanting to tear my hair out at, because if something was annoying me, I dropped it way before then. I think the farthest I got, and something that bothered me, was About Time. I got over halfway through that one while it was currently airing, and I just couldn't do it anymore, man. I couldn't do it.
I finished that drama.
Why? Why did you finish that?
Because it's Natalia.
That's true.
The ending was as disappointing as you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. It was like there was I saw no light at the end of the tunnel at one point, and I was like, I'm not gonna stick this one out, which is too bad, because I liked some of the actors just fine.
Yeah, like the acting was fine, the story was stupid.
Oh yeah, motives.
And not even like the whole story, like the concept of it, I kind of liked, which is why I started watching. But then the further it went on, the stupider it got, and I was just like,
was that the one where she could see your timeline?
See how long you had to live.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I started that and dropped it too.
I started it, like, I dropped it on the 2nd episode. I was like, I don't like it.
I liked the concept and I liked them together, but like, it was too much. Ladies. Flipping it around, we were asked by a couple of different people. Annie and Caitlin both asked for top 5 dramas for each of us, just to get a sense of
like what Caitlin said, because she wanted to know, like, get a sense of what each of us are into, as it were.
Yeah, I think Annie said the same thing, just to have that better understanding.
So, like, if you know what someone's into, if they recommend something, you can know if you're going to like it by what they've previously been into.
Yeah.
So, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kaylin, Annie, we see you.
So for me, always find it hard, like, to pick. So I decided to go with one from each country, basically.
Nice.
Good idea.
Just make my life easier that way. So K-drama, my favorite is Chicago Typewriter. I love it. I love the
solid.
libraries. I love the actors. I love just, it's beautiful. I cried. I laughed. I enjoyed
It's a really
it.
good show.
Kissing. It's lovely.
Got everything.
And great insight into that specific period of history with the Japanese occupation and stuff. I learned things that I didn't really know before about that time period. So that was kind of cool. Japanese, Million Yen Women. Like, I love that drama, which is weird because I'm not usually into the, like, really intense kind of stuff. And that is definitely a very intense drama, but I love it. Again, laughed and cried, and it was excellent. For my Taiwanese, I haven't actually finished this one, but it's like a daily one called Two Fathers, and it's just the freaking cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's a million episodes long. So I generally watch about like 10 or 12 episodes, and then I put it back on hold. And then later, when things slow down again and I need something sweet and easy, I pull it back out and watch another 10 episodes. And I'm on about 35 right now, something like that. But like, it's just easy and cute and sweet. And like, the daughter has like freaking cat whisker dimples that, like,
so
face
cute.
crinkles up like cat whiskers when she smiles.
So
it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So it's just easy. You see everything coming a million miles away. Nothing surprises you, and it's just all comfortable watch. For Chinese language, My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, seasons 1 and 2. It is
funny.
It's a surprisingly good drama for the setup. Like, you think you're just getting funny, but it like brings the feels, like something fierce, and you're like, I did not expect that to come from this drama that is ridiculous. But I mean, the premise is ridiculous. He gets sent 2 robots from the future. Like, it's a whole thing. And he thinks he orders a girl robot, but he ordered a boy robot by accident. And the boy robot imprints on him and is in love with him, but he's like, dude, I'm not into dudes. And the dude robot can't change his wiring, so he loves him. And then the girl robot shows up, and instead of imprinting on him, the girl robot imprints on the boy robot. So he's in love with the girl robot, and she's in love with the dude robot, and the dude robot's in love with him. And basically, it's found family. They become a family. Like, not a family. It's not, like, creepy. It's, like, it's just
cute.
Become a family. It's super cute. And, yeah, and there's a lot of feels in it. And then for Thai, I have to say Two Moons because I've watched it, like, 10 times. And I love it, and it's simple. But is it one of the best Thai dramas I've ever watched? No. No, it is not. I love it.
It makes you feel good when you watch it. And sometimes that's more important than, like, quality show. You know what I mean? Like, there's something strangely endearing about Two Moons that, like, you cannot escape.
Yeah.
Like, once it has you in its hold, it has you forever.
If I have to go with one that's actually good, I would say Wake Up Ladies, which I watched last year, and it's sort of like a Thai Sex and the City kind of thing, where the main character, though, is the, like, gay best friend, and it's just really enjoyable.
Good.
Like, the friendship and the, like, hanging out, and these girls all being together and taking care of each other and stuff, and it was a really good drama. So if you're looking for Thai drama to try, I really recommend Wake Up.
Yeah, it's a good one. What about you, Jessie?
So my current all-time favorite is Because This Is My First Life. I just love it. I have a strong connection with the character. Like, I feel like she has some really great like moments where it's like she's like quiet about things, but then kind of does these breakthrough things, which I know people hate because they hate that trope, but they actually set up that her character would do what she does on the end multiple times through this series, and in her, what you don't see in her past. And I thought like that was really neat that they actually made that trope essential from like the very beginning. And I just really, I love the group of friends. I love the stories. I love that it had this quietness about it. And then also the kind of the reversal of what it means to be a wife. Because especially because when she starts have to do all like, especially with the Korean culture where you're like doing all of the, you know, preparation for the memorials and that sort of thing, and how they kind of took a look at that and kind of brought to light what the issues were with that. I thought it was just really great. I love it. I love the writing. Second is Come and Hug Me, which is like my genre, like my normal genre. Like if I was watching Western shows, I'm really into crime shows, but there was just, it was told beautifully. And it also had some really great theatrical moments and cinematic moments that they tied in. And also you didn't know where the story was going to go, but it still had the love story, and it still had the realistic story of like this serial killer, and then also just like dealing with family and what it means to actually be a family, even if they're not blood related too, and what dealing with a family member who has done wrong, and how like, you know, the world perceives family as being evil by association when they aren't, and it shouldn't be that way. I just thought it was just incredibly well done. Then there's my favorite J-drama of all time is The Reason I Can't Find My Love. And I think one of the biggest reasons that I started to like it is because the main girl is a light technician. And so I was like, oh, this is really cool. She's a light technician. And I work in props. So I was like, oh, this is really great that I found an Asian drama that this female was doing it. But it's kind of, in Japan, it was aired like a kind of Sex in the City, and it's got that vibe, but not really. It's really about the relationship of this group of women who kind of come together to live in the same house because they just needed to, and their relationship together, and their relationship with their job and with their boyfriends and that sort of thing. And it's got a really great central female cast that don't do things like tear each other down. And I thought it's a really great drama, but I watched it on Drama Fever, so I can't watch it again.
It gets you you think that you're finally over it,
and then it gets you,
just pulls you back in,
slaps you. One day I'll find it again. Maybe Vicky will come through because they've been airing so many J-dramas. My next one is Coffee Prince, and that's just it's one of the first shows that I really started to fall in love. So I have like that nostalgic, like, oh, this is so sweet. And the relationship is really sweet. And there's just some really sweet moments. And I love the like family that's formed within the guys at the coffee shop. And it's just one of those things, like, it's not the best, but it still like makes me happy when I watch it. So
yeah, you don't have to justify things that you like, you know, like,
yeah.
It gives you good feelings, and that's why you like it.
And then the last one, I couldn't decide between two, and it was more because I was like, oh, I have so many Korean ones, I should pick a J-drama one, but then also I was like, but I want this Korean one, so I kind of have it tied. I cheated a little bit.
Same.
Yeah. For the Korean, it's Just Between Lovers, which if you haven't watched it, it's so good. It's heartbreaking, but I think the way that they handle the story, because if you don't know, it's about a mall collapse and the effects around that. But it's so great that they don't just deal with the people who are actually in the mall and suffered like injuries or whatever. They also deal with the families who lost members. Yeah. And that was like just beautiful. And I thought it was just incredibly well done. It was amazing to watch. And like any time they were talking to the family members of the people who had passed, it was just, and then the J-drama is the one I just watched because I watched the Korean version, and then I had to watch the J-drama. It's 1 Million Stars Falling from the Sky, which was outstanding. It was great, wonderful. Blew the Korean version out of the water, even being like 8 years older or something. I think 2000, early 2000s maybe when it aired, but it's so good. I think they did a better job. But that's it. Those are my picks.
So, for me, Natalia here, my number one of all time is Circle. It's like literally one of the most outstanding shows I've ever seen. Not even
So
just
good.
K-dramas. So good. Now
That
that
was
was
on
like
Drama Fever too.
that was a drama fever casualty, but we're hoping someone will bring it back because like if you can find it, watch it. It's incredible and it's so good. I can't. It's just so good. I can't even.
So good.
I can't describe how good it is. Like it's indescribably good. So my number two. Okay. So as we were saying, sometimes things aren't amazing, but you love them anyway. So my number two, which was my number one until Circle came around for years and years, is Fool's Love, otherwise known as Hogu's Love, which is another drama fever casualty. But it gives you all the feels. You're like you laugh. There's hilarious stuff. There's just tragic stuff. There's a cute baby. Like what more do you want? What more do you want from a show?
A dog.
There's
A dog.
There's no dog, but there's a really funny series of jokes revolving around condoms, which is unheard of.
Which for you put it over the top.
No, like it was like I can even tell this joke. So there's like a girl is pregnant out of wedlock, and the main guy thinks that it's this one guy's baby, but this guy's actually just it's her lawyer, but like they went to school together, so he's like, oh, it's definitely the father. And so he gets like all worked up in his own mind about like, why didn't this guy use condoms? Like if he was gonna be so irresponsible and have like a one night stand, like he should have used condoms if she didn't get pregnant. So he ends up like punching the guy in the face and screaming condoms at him while throwing at him in an elevator. Like what's happening, right? Because he's like he's like ah, and then like it just shows like the elevator doors open and him just like lying on the floor covered in condoms, and you're just like, what is happening? But the show is amazing. It's really good and really poignant and horribly realistic in some ways that make you kind of sad, but it all, because you're like, this is reality hitting you, and I don't know why I don't know why I love this show so much, but like I just love it so much. So after that is a little bit of a controversial one that I personally like, but have yet to find any other person that I talked to who liked this show, and that would be Mirror of the Witch, which is known as Secret Healer on Netflix. And I love a good fantasy show. And I also love Yoon Shi-yoon, and he was incredible in this, and she was incredible, and there was like a whole big thing about like she was like a minor and like 10 years younger than him when it was filmed, but like there isn't anything inappropriate that happens. Like there's no like there's no sexual things at all. So like it wasn't uncomfortable to watch because it's not like there's any like no, she was above board, where she plays like a cursed princess who has magical powers and was supposed to be murdered, but instead of the Taoist priest who was supposed to kill her because she was like the cursed twin of the royal family, he like saved her instead, and then bad things happen because she's cursed. But it's really good. Next on my list was also Because This Is My First Life, because that show is incredible and y'all should watch it. Jesse already went into it. I don't need to go into it anymore. So 5, I'm actually have 3 that are tied because they're all kind of the same genre for my like number 5 slot. One is Cruel City, otherwise known as Heartless City, or as my husband calls it, Everyone's a Cop, the show. And then next to that, which is about basically a cop's trying to take down a drug ring, but the drug ring leader is also a cop trying to take down a bigger drug ring, but he's undercover so nobody knows. Really good. Next is Save Me, which is about a girl trying to escape a religious cult with the help of really incompetent teenage boys. who just try their best. And then finally, when they came out last year, Lawless Lawyer, which was so good.
So good.
So good. My only problem with it is that I wish that he had kept the knuckle tattoos from the first scene throughout the whole show. It would have actually made it better.
It would have made a difference.
Like, it actually would have made a small but important difference, because it would have fit his character so much better. But I digress. Irrelevant. Those are my top 5. What about you, guys?
To preface mine, I'm really, really crummy at ranking things. It takes me like decades to figure out. So, this is just going to be special. Feel Good to Die is, I guess, number 1. Because I'm a sucker for like Christmas Carol type stuff, and it's pretty much a Christmas Carol kdrama. So it works for me. And it was just really silly. Like, silly yet had a message to it. So I also like how they kind of Groundhog's Day 5 billion times over in different ways. It was just, there's a lot of unique stuff going on there. And I liked the romance aspect, but some people didn't dig it. That's okay. I thought it was really cute. Lawless Lawyer, I think, is on my list. I mean, I think I'm even going to rewatch that a few times. That's the way I felt about that. I liked how there's a lot of battle against corruption. I have a special place in my heart for, I need to name that genre, pretty much action, main lead guy likes to fight a lot show, whatever that genre is. You know, it's the same genre as The Fiery Priest. It's the same, like, I mean...
Brawler with a heart of gold.
Yeah. I mean, so pigtail, but he's going to do good at it. Like, it works. It's like The Player with one guy. I mean, it kind of... Without teamwork, just... Anyway. Speaking of The Player probably makes my list. Because I like the teamwork. They didn't shy away from exploring all the characters. A really cool girl character, which you don't get to see too often. Which, that was an aspect of Lawless Lawyer I actually like too. The lead chick in that show is awesome.
And she can get it. Actually, both of them can get it in Lawless Lawyer. Like, and they do. Very rare in a K-drama.
Well, and
an actual adult seeming adult
romance is actually really chill, and that's really nice to see. Like, anyway, I'll do a throwback since everyone's gonna do a throwback. I will claim Secret Garden, which I probably wouldn't be able to watch the entirety of again. I would probably have to fast forward through the crazy mother-in-law scenes, but I really like it. It makes me laugh a lot. What number am I at? 4?
I don't know. That felt like
that's fine.
4 or 5.
I will claim.
She's like, mine.
I have a list. I'm just trying to. I will claim Are You Human too? Well, okay, I'm gonna smush another one. I'm Not a Robot. I'll put both of them in that.
Yeah, they're both the robot genre.
They're
bookends.
People think that they're very similar. They're not.
They're not at all. No.
Totally, they are totally different.
One has an actual working robot in it. The other one does not. So, well, like, I mean, times she sort of works, but mostly not. She spends most of the show being repaired.
True that.
All right. The next is a quick one. Another quick little question from our main man, Ricky, once again. He wants to know, bang, marry, kill between Gong Yoo, Song Joong Ki, and Park Bo Gum. He's asking the real questions, ladies. This is the important... This is the stuff that our listeners want to know. So Gong Yoo, Song Joong Ki, Park Bo Gum. All right.
I'm gonna go with bang Gong Yoo, marry Song Joong Ki, and sorry Bo Gum, you're dead to me.
Fair.
Without his hair, he cut the hair, and it's just
the sex appeal was gone for you, huh?
Yep.
You're like, no, I need something to hold on to, right? He's out. Off with the hair, off with the head.
Exactly. All right, how about you, Jessie?
Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm not a very big Song Joong Ki person unless he's in Running Man. So, but I don't really want to. Oh, okay, whatever. Bangkok Bogum, marry Gong Yoo, and kill Song Joong Ki.
All right, so mine, marry Gong Yoo, because he seems like he would be a really good husband.
He would. Yeah.
Bang Song Joong Ki, because he seems like he'd put a lot of effort into it. So it would be like he'd make it fun for everyone. You know, he seems like a real nice guy, but like he seems a little too nice and too religious for your old atheist friend over here. So Park Bo-gum's gotta go. Sorry, my man. Sorry. No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. I just killed you. But
I just
whatever.
he just killed him in my heart. I killed him from my late bit. So
he's alive in mine, so it's okay.
Exactly. You can have him.
Okay, I will, because now I have like pity on him. Okay, I will claim I will marry Park Bo-gum.
I see what
Bang Gong-yoo and kill Song Joong Ki.
Okay.
So none of us are willing to kill Gong Yoo.
No, we want him in our lives. He's just
one way or another.
We just want him around us in some way. He lives. Gong Yoo always lives. Unless you're watching Train to Busan. Okay. So the next question was from.
I might have to put that in.
Like, if you haven't, it's been out for like 3 years, guys. Just like take to it, like
zombie
don't
movie
mad.
too. Like
it's on
obviously.
Netflix. Like, calm down. If you don't know how it ends, like we're under a rock. Come on. All right. The next question was from Mally, and do you have any tips for helping memorize actors' names?
And the only tip I could give is that I did find it a lot easier once I started to learn the Hangul alphabet. So I did that using an app called Hangul Punch, which was actually kind of fun to play. And once I had the Hangul, then it helped me to differentiate some of the similar sounding names and things. Because I could look them up and see how it was actually written, and that helped me. But other than that, I can only say like maybe saying the name over and over again, like looking at the name and looking at the person's picture or something and saying. I still don't remember everybody's name because
I'm gonna be honest.
There's lots of people.
I am bad with non-Korean names, so I'm bad with all. Like, listen, if I didn't see you every day, I'd forget all your names. So like,
there are times when I can't remember coworkers' names.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to memorize names, and there are days when I'll like magically remember someone's name, and it could not be my favorite person, and then my favorite person will like be like, that person, you know. But it definitely like reading, like learning Hangul and like reading the name, like just like actually physically seeing it instead of just like listening to it does tend to help. I guess that could help, but also, I don't remember names. It doesn't matter what country you're from or even like your relationship to me. I'll be like, that person?
The guy.
The guy.
The guy, the one with the face,
I mean, I'm pretty crummy at names too in general, but for me, as far as knowing that I'm able to remember K-pop names means it's because of familiarity with just seeing them in a lot of different situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I am able to remember at least a small handful of actor names, but it's because I've probably seen them in a lot of different, not just dramas, probably also variety shows, interviews. It's just a familiarity thing.
Yeah.
But past that, if I've only seen somebody in maybe even a few dramas, I will probably still space on their name. Even if they're like a huge bias of mine, I will still probably forget. So
unless they're Kim Won-hae, we'll never forget that.
No.
Well, like
never forget him.
There's no universe that I'm gonna forget Cha Eun-woo's name, but there could be a day that I forget. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
But since I've seen him in so many different ways, it'd be difficult for me to space on his name. So same thing with Kim Won-hae. I've seen him in so much.
We're also we Google a lot on this podcast, so if we seem like we know, it's because maybe we put a cheat sheet up, or like before I tweet something, I'll like make sure to go and like find that person's name, which has also kind of been good about like helping.
And also, sometimes, and one time, very embarrassingly, my autocorrect failed me. So I'm like a huge EXO stan, and I meant to write something about Jonghyun, and it replaced it with Jongin, and then I looked the fool. And I was like, autocorrect!
And we were all like, Kai is not in that picture.
Yeah, I know. They were all like, wait, they're all like looking for Kai, and I'm like, no, damn it, no, I just not. So it's okay if you don't remember their names.
We do make effort though. I mean,
Well, just one.
Well, you can do, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't know these people.
Exactly. Like, they're not going to care that you don't know their names. So, the next question is from Spanish Natalia again. Yay! Spanish Natalia! It's a two-parter. What is your favorite trope, and what is the trope you hate the most?
The trope I hate the most, and I didn't realize it until this past year, and I've seen it in like, I saw it, I think, in 3 different dramas inside of like a week and a half, and I was like, it has to stop. It's the one where the like, usually second female lead gets, shut out, shut down, whatever, and then threatens suicide or attempts suicide, which is a little less horrible because like it shows you that the character is really distressed.
Yeah, they're not just manipulating you.
But frequently it is just a form of blackmail against the male lead or against the female lead to like get out of the man's life or whatever. But it's like the most subtle form is, I think, like when they go, just, would you be okay if something bad happened to me?
Yeah.
And you're sort of like, yeah, actually.
You're like, actually, I would give it 2 thoughts. Like, you're your own person. Your life is in your hands. See ya.
I hate it because I think it makes light of suicide. I think it makes women look bad. It's never the male second lead. Never the male second lead. He always bows out gracefully.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like it's always the girl, and she threatens suicide and tries to control the male lead through it, and I hate it. If I never see it again,
it'll be too soon.
You want it to die in a fire.
Die in a fire. Yeah. And the one I love the most is the con job double cross. So like there's always in the con job or the heist film or whatever, and it's like there's always that one weak link that you think is going to double cross everybody, but it turns out that they didn't really double cross. They were like double crossing the like people who thought they were getting them to double cross, and I love that. I love that when they like
when it's done well.
Sure, like you're betraying your friend, and at the end it's like, ha, no, I didn't, and you're like, yeah,
fooled you.
I think the trope that I hate the most goes with my God's quiz answer is the bumbling idiots cops, especially when they're only there for comedic relief. It's one thing if like the show has comedy to it and then they add the comedy, or it's just like kind of like toned down, but it's like they're funny but they still are able to do their job. When they're just like so amped up that you're like, these people don't know how to be a cop, it pulls you like even on like the stupidest written show, it pulls you out and you're like, but this person never would be in this position.
Yeah, because in Korea it's a lot harder to become a cop.
Yeah,
like you have to pass several written exams that are known to be
it gets weird because it all like I do find it most when it's like a show that deals with like deaths. So then you have like the people who are supposed to be the ones to figure out this murder or whatever it is, they're bumbling idiots, and then it's you just feel bad for the like victim in it, and you're like, but this is weird. That's like, I don't like it at all. Like, that could go away, because it also happens in Western dramas too.
Yeah.
So it's like across the board, I hate it. Let's not do that again. And then favorite trope, I think everybody knows that I love found family. Love it. Especially if like they're completely found family and they just come together randomly, and like I do feel like workplace found families are kind of like where I like it the most, because that I feel is like the most collection of people who, even though you share the common thing of being in the job, you all are completely different human beings. And then when they come together to like rally behind someone to get them through something at the job, I think that's really sweet. And then kind of like tying into that, the mentorship person, like the person who mentors the like lead character and like kind of takes them along, and then it's almost they become like a father or a mother to them, and lead them into a better situation. I love those.
So for me, the one I hate the most is when in like the second to last episode they have to break up and one of them has to go out of the country or whatever for like a year time jump. Why? Like, that's not how people do things. Like, that's not, and it's like, what? Like, you have to leave the country on business and you can't text? Like.
And across the board, they won't communicate ever.
No. And then they just come back and everything's fine. Like, that's not how life works. Anyway, okay. I'm not going to get into it because, like, I could wax poetic for complain. Try to keep it positive. But the one that I love is also pretty well known for me. Contract marriages. Especially if they begin with, well, we'll have to get married because of X, but we're never, like, we hate each other, so we're never going to fall in love. I'm like, yes! I can't wait for them to fall in love. Yeah, it's like my favorite thing in the entire world. Love it. Love it.
So my least favorite trope is gaslighting.
Oh!
I hate that. It is typically done to women, but I mean it can be done to male characters too. I just feel like it often is done to women, and I think part of the reason why that drives me nuts is it actually happens to women a lot in real life.
Yeah.
Often. And the thing is, it can actually be. I don't even remember the last time I freaked out about it. With a recent show that was on air. I can't even remember, but it was pretty subtle, but it was just enough gaslighting that it still drove me nuts. So it doesn't even have to be a very heavy-handed long arc of gaslighting. It can just be like even just one tiny situation. No, like that makes me dislike a character pretty quick.
Yeah.
Don't dig it. What I love, I think, is enemies to lovers. I actually see it. I haven't ran across it that much.
That's because you haven't been watching enough contract marriage drama. That's the classic trope in contract marriage.
I mean, I think I've seen it in a couple of Taiwanese shows. I think that's actually I think because it got me into watching dramas. I felt like there was some You've Got Mail, Pride and Prejudice scene going on, and so I was like, ooh, I can do this. So I think that's mine.
Mally asked about shaggy hair on male leads. Where do we stand on this new-ish trend, or, and we have thoughts, we have feelings.
Okay.
Some
of our feelings are very passionate. And by someone, I mean myself.
Well, me too. I mean, I already said I was going to kill Bo Gum because he cut his hair. So, yeah. I mean, shaggy works.
You're really passionate.
If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that my Twitter name is Talia the Mullet Apologist, because I love K-pop mullets. I love them so much. I don't even know why. It was like the first time I saw one, I was like, a mullet, really? And then like I looked at it for like 30 seconds, and then. Like,
a mullet, really?
Like, at first, like, it was sort of like me and Tachyon. The first time I saw him, I was like, him? And then I was like, ooh. And then I looked at him for a while, and I was like, oh, no. Oh, yes. Like, that, like, something in me just, like, it's like I had just,
found what I'd been looking for my entire life, and it was good-looking Asian men with mullets, making the mullets look good rather than gross country dudes with their. See, because K-pop mullets are not the same as white people mullets.
No,
they're very
not.
They're very chic. White people mullets are disgusting. K-pop mullets, on the other hand, mwah, I am in it to win it. Long hair on dudes, yes. Like, you know, there's that whole thing with like man buns, where everyone's making fun of man buns. I always had to hold my tongue because I was like, man bun, yes. I think maybe like I love historical dramas a lot, and there's a lot of sweet hair going on. Long hair, love it.
Yeah, and I think in particular, Mally was asking about J dramas, and
yeah,
they do seem to go for the shaggier haircuts more in the Japanese dramas. But it works. It's good.
It does work. I really like it.
Yeah.
One of our friends on Twitter, Trotwood, she writes for a blog, and she actually did like a 2-part blog extravaganza on is it Saito Takumi's hair, like just like pictures and pictures of his hair. Like, it's glorious. It's just glorious. The man is sex, and the hair is gorgeous. So
the man is sex, the hair is sex. It's all a kink.
If you don't like long hair on dudes, you're looking at the wrong dudes and the long hair. That's all I can say.
You're right. Like, long hair can only get you so far. You know what I mean? Because like, I have seen some nasty long hair.
We also had a question from Jade. She asked about skinship in dramas. Has it changed? Has it actually gotten better or more in recent years? Do we think this is because of Western influence or the influence of Western fans? How do we feel about it? I have to say, for myself personally, it's hard for me to say because I haven't delved much into older dramas, and I've only started watching dramas like I'm coming up on my like 3-year anniversary.
Yeah,
so
some of the older dramas
skinships always existed.
Some of the older dramas are actually a little spicier than some of the newer ones. Like Coffee Prince, for example, has like a full on. You know what they're up to, but they've added that a bit more in recent. Like, it depends on the drama. This is the other thing too. It depends on the genre. It depends on what time slot. It depends on what station it's on. Because like, you're more apt to see like, you know, skinship on like an OCN drama, but usually not in a positive way. Or like a TVN drama will be a bit spicier than like a cable than a public network drama. So I think it really depends on that. And I don't actually see that much Western influence, because if there was, it would be much spicier than it's like one chili pepper versus like.
Well, and like the idea for me that the idea that Western viewers would drive that as well. Like, I think we've seen pretty significally that they don't really care about what the Western viewers are watching. If they did, they could have legal subs.
I saw like a video on YouTube once where they were like, oh yeah, like there's all these people in North America that love Korean dramas, and like the Korean person was like, why? Like, why would they watch our stuff?
Yeah. For me, I come to Korean dramas to get away from the like people just met and fall into bed and like overly naked sex scenes and stuff. It's like, it's too much for me, and I'd rather watch less. Less is more.
Yeah, it's definitely like based on who the audience is going to be, because if we're being really honest with ourselves, a lot of the stuff we see on like SBS and KBS are for older women. Like, that's their actual demographic. So it's not even like that they're doing it like modestly in a way. It's more of just, it's not something that's essential, so it's not going to happen. They're just not going to waste time on it. And I feel like where you would see the more kind of growth is in social justice issues, more about like grabbing a wrist. See that kind of stopping, or like being more open to LGBTQ relationship, that sort of thing, as opposed to like ramping up skinship and like the sexual, like romantic interest.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe there is like a point where if you've been watching a lot, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see it.
Like I think the spiciest I've seen was probably Secretary Kim, where he took the shirt off and started unbuttoning her shirt, and then it faded to black, and I was like, whoa, whoo, stand self, like this is, I don't think I can watch this with my mother, like too spicy. And then I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You can watch this with your mother. So we did also ask for K-pop questions, but we only got a single K-pop question from Jane.
The ones we asked each other.
Yes, we did ask each other things. They were fake questions.
Well, we did get a couple more, but we can't really answer them because we're not.
Yeah, we're not industry experts.
We're not experts. We honestly don't know that much other than just what we observe. So
we were kind of looking for more like personal questions.
Preference type haha questions.
Yeah, like so someone had asked like the process for being a trainee. We don't know that. We're not involved in that. We just like listening to the music after they've been trainees, you know? So the one K-pop question that we got was, is there a genre of music that you finally tried listening to because of K-pop? And that was from Jane. Thank you, Jane, for your wonderful question.
I can't say that there is for me. I've always listened to a lot of different music. Like I used to always say, like even in high school and stuff, I would say I listened to good music, and it didn't really matter what the genre was. So I'd listen to country and rap and dance and pop and whatever.
I was sort of the opposite.
I like jazz. I like everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I like listening to everything, but usually I like listening to the worst of everything, like the worst music. Like I just love it. I love bad stuff. What's wrong with me? But like I listen to everything. But like even before I got into K-pop, like I listened to J-pop. I was big into musicals. Like I love show tunes. Actually, I like everything but country, with one exception. Dolly Parton, my friend. Dolly Parton.
I'm the same way.
Can't do country.
Like I can do bluegrass. I can't do country.
Yeah, I can do blues. I can do like Louisiana style like stuff. But
I think there are good songs. I've enjoyed, I've enjoyed a Garth Brooks tune or two in my time. Like,
I'm sure I've like hummed along with one before, but in general, like when country comes on, I'm like, ugh, change it. But I always laugh at how ridiculously, like when I put like my Spotify on shuffle, shenanigans. Just like it's no congruous. Like it'll go from like EDM to like a Disney song, and then it'll be like a hardcore rap, and then it'll go to like some sort of like ukulele like indie. Like there's no real rhyme or reason to anything I listen to. I like what I like.
I'm the exact same way.
K-pop, listening to K-pop has opened me up to more international music. So like getting into K-pop, I also will listen to Mando Pop now, and J-pop, and Q-pop is coming through my Spotify now, and like I like all of it. There's stuff that I like. I'm really liking Q-pop lately. So I mean, nice. I think for me that's given me a wider perspective on music.
Yeah, I feel like I might listen to more pop music because of K-pop, and that's about it. Like I do actually, like I would probably not go to a Western radio station and turn on like the regular pop station. I would go for I usually like alternative rock. That's like where my genre would lie. But like in K-pop, I'm more open to like doing the pop stuff. But I also kind of listen to that. But I also love musicals, and I love classical, and I love like a whole bunch of stuff. So, and like I was always into J-rock since high school. So I think probably it's just pop is like more prevalent than it would be if I was just listening to Western music. But I do listen to a bunch of different stuff, and shuffle is crazy in the clean room. If you're ever at work with me, it's nuts.
I do
Just-
have one Western group that I started listening to because of K-pop, and it's going to sound really weird, but I started listening to Maroon 5 because in like and I like never really cared about Maroon 5. Like they just never showed up in mine. But on one of my like like they make your playlists on Spotify, like your daily mix, they put the song Lucky Strike by Maroon 5, and I was struck by how much it sounded like a K-pop song, and I really liked the vibe of it. So I started listening to Maroon 5 because of that one song that sounded like it could be a K-pop song. What about you, Sky?
So I listened to a pretty big variety too. In general, though, not a big country fan, which is kind of funny. I grew up in Oklahoma, so I was definitely surrounded by it. And rap was really not on my radar, just because language reason. I wasn't exposed to it a lot, first of all, but it just never was an interest of mine. I really wasn't even exposed to much EDM, just wasn't around it. I was mostly in my little alt rock universe. So K-pop, as I've gotten into it, it actually has been a slow progression of exposing myself to other parts of even K-pop in general, and kind of getting to like them as I get used to them. So even rap, it took me a little bit to get used to it, to like it, to figure out what parts of it I liked. And even EDM, dance music and stuff, I just wasn't used to it. So it did expose me to a lot of different genres of music that I was not really listening to before. I do know that one that I definitely would have never been exposed to without K-pop would have been trot. I would have thought that trot was a weird genre that I wouldn't have.
I love trot music.
Because some of it is just so different sounding.
Yeah.
But once you find like kind of the newer trot stuff, and even some of the older really fun songs, it's a very unique sound, but you can kind of see the charm of it eventually if you've exposed yourself enough to it. So that's really interesting. I've learned a lot. I started in Mando Pop a little bit before I got into K-pop, and yeah, I've never been a big poppy song fan, and I pretty much am way more okay with that now because of K-pop. So.
All right, that was it for the questions. Thank you, everyone. Maybe in the future we'll do another one and get more questions from y'all about us.
So because we reached 1,000 downloads, we thought, oh, it'd be fun to watch something that has 1,000 in the title. And the only thing that we could actually find legal subs for was 1,000 Kisses. So we watched the first couple episodes.
And it's a 50-episode family drama, right?
Yeah, it's like
50th.
a weekender.
And
right?
it was from
So-
2011, I think.
Yeah.
It's an older one.
It's older. I like the one lead quite a lot in it. So that was part of the reason I was willing to give it a shot, because I like him.
Mhm.
And I mean, he plays like a manager of a sports, like a soccer team or something. So like, I like sports dramas. So I was sort of like, oh, hey, cool, sport. So, yeah. But I mean, we only watched the first couple episodes. First couple episodes of a weekender is never really going to give you a whole lot of plot.
No.
It's mostly just setup and character. So the main character is a woman who is married to a guy who, in the first 5 minutes, you find out he's a cheating ass.
It's the guy from Touch Your Heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fumbling
no.
idiot lawyer guy.
No, it's not. Is it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
No,
The
it's the guy
handsome-
from Father is Strange.
No, I'm like
Isn't it?
almost positive.
It's the
it
dude
is.
from
Ah.
Touch.
I thought it was
can't
the
remember
dude
now.
I thought it was the dude from Father is Strange too.
I thought so too.
Like
But they both do a lot of weekenders, so
Yeah.
it could be either of them, really.
And they do look
He's
kind
wearing
of,
glasses. It's a whole thing.
they do look kind of similar.
So, but yeah, right off the bat, I have a problem with it, because when you're setting up for me a relationship like that, the main romantic relationship is going to be between somebody who is already married to a different character
Mhm.
and somebody else, that's a problem for me. Like, I can't, I struggle with that, because the idea that you could be married to somebody and for whatever reason within 6 months or less be head over heels in love with somebody else is a big struggle for me. So
well, unless you were already like out of love with the person you're with and in the process of
which
separating.
you're like, okay, so this guy's cheating. You find that out right in the beginning. He's cheating. Okay, he's the devil. Fine. But you're like, it's still gonna take her a while to get there, right? But no, about halfway through, you find out he's cheated on her like 3 or 4 times before, and she keeps forgiving him, and you're like, oh, okay, well, no. Now I'm okay. Now it's fine. Because clearly the seed of dissent has been sown many years before in her heart. So, okay, if I'm kind of okay with it, whatever. And then there's a bunch of other characters. I honestly had it on in the background. I didn't pay a lot of attention, which is what I kind of do with Weekenders. I throw them on and like kind of pay attention. So
I mean, there were another couple of people that are like pretty well, like kind of well known. Like the girl who plays her sister is the best friend from Boys Over Flowers, and then one of the girls from 4 Minute is in it.
And I like the guy.
Oh, and I just Googled it, Amanda. We were incorrect. It is.
Oh, we were.
It's the bumbling lawyer. They win.
Bumbling.
Win again.
Okay.
Yes, vindication.
Vindication.
I like kind of spoiled myself. Not really. I read the description on Viki before starting the episode, so I kind of knew going in. And like it sets up as long as Viki's like description is correct, which we know it could probably not be, but it does kind of set up what the show is going to be that like obviously we would never see in the first 2 episodes. Like essentially it's like their focus is on her being divorced with a kid dating someone who's younger than her, and they're both in different social classes as well, because she's not like super well off, but she's fine, but he's obviously got money because he manages this team. It was okay.
I thought that's the first episode. Watching it, I was like, and then it got to like the end of the first episode, and she sees her cheating husband kissing this chick after he swore to her, like, no, it's not again. I would never risk our marriage by doing that again. And then he goes outside and starts making out with this chick in front of their house. And she's like taking out the trash and really? She just goes over and starts feeding them with the trash bags, and it's like trash is flying everywhere, and it's beautiful. It was glorious, and you're like, yes. And then the second episode starts, and he's like, no, you misunderstood what you saw, and you're like,
because
here we go.
And they also do that thing where every time he does something, it's like this upbeat kind of like fun kind of music when he's doing terrible things. Like he's in the car making out with a girl, and it's like just like, oh well, he's so cute and funny, just cheating on the wife. But like also like the way that she meets up with the soccer guy is that he doesn't the husband doesn't show up for a soccer game that he's supposed to be watching with the kid. The kid's like 8 or 10 or something. He's like older. And they were supposed to go to the soccer game together. So then the mom has to go with them. And they're going to see. Yeah,
pure garbage. Because, like, you're like, okay, you know what? It's one thing. You fall out of love, or you've got the libido and you need to cheat. Whatever. That's between you and your wife. But when you start screwing over your kid, he's like tapping. I mean, the first scene, it's like the kid's recital at school. And he's like watching his watch.
Yeah,
like, oh, my God.
Because you got to go cheat.
I got have sex. Like
he's like, listen, I got a dick appointment. I gotta go.
And then he just totally like bails on his kid. Like they have tickets to go see a professional sports match, and he's like,
this kid like loves soccer.
Yeah,
and he's like just been obsessed with it.
Bad husband, he's the bad dad, and
then of course they live with his mom, who like
is awful.
The trope of like being terrible to her. And then you also kind of they touch on it a little bit, but the female lead's mom left when she was very young, so she lived with her grandma. Like, so that is also brought up. So that's probably why she stayed with the husband a little bit longer than she should. But
where I think for me, if I started watching it when it was airing, I think I would stick with it. Like, I kind of like the characters, and I could see sticking with it. Am I going to watch it now? No, I'm not.
There was like a moment towards the end of the second episode, because I did have it mostly on the background, but that's okay, because, you know,
It's a
you
weekend.
didn't really,
Like,
you don't need to, like, yeah.
You don't need every
But
line.
there was like a second I was like, you know, I could watch another episode, but am I going to? No. I have shows that I want to watch, and I wasn't like super into it, and I'm not super into any of the like actors that are in it, so there's like not that push.
Yeah.
And it was only 2 episodes, and we didn't really see much progression. I mean, like, obviously we won't, but yeah.
So, to me, the first time the two leads meet, they're kind of antagonistic towards each other, and we know that's a thing for me. The chef guy from Coffee Friends is in it as a professional soccer player, or a college soccer player.
Yeah, that's what I recognize.
He was super young with like shaggy hair. I was like, oh, he's in this.
Heart beating stronger.
Beat.
And the little precocious kid is just the right amount of precocious and not annoying. Like,
That's true. He was actually
he's
like
pretty
not
cute.
annoying.
So I'm not saying I'm gonna like watch it right now, but it might be one of those like once in a while I'll pick up an episode.
I didn't hate it.
I could see doing that too. I could see
And I can
throwing
watch
it on in
anything,
the background.
Well, see,
Right.
my problem is I already have 2 weekenders that I started that I haven't like continued on, that I want to continue on. 4 or 5 episodes in on both of them. I'm like, kind of want to watch those before I start a new one.
Yeah, whereas I don't have any weekenders on my radar, so this might be the one that I sometimes
I mean,
with.
You have no weekenders on your radar, no matter
I have
how
not
many
even
times.
watched.
Man, how many times I tell you to watch 5 Children? Nothing. The disrespect. The disrespect in this room.
I'm looking forward to. I want to try that. Mother of Mine, I think, is coming up.
I
this
saw
weekend,
that.
next weekend.
I think Akawa has it.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I found
want
it like
to try
as
that
a
one because,
legal
like,
sub.
single mom with 3 adult daughters. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something I'd be into. So
I really like that actress. She's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite older actresses. Yeah.
yeah. So it's the mom from Father Strange.
She's so wonderful.
So I think I'll give
Oh,
that.
technically I have 3 weekenders. Oh no, I just remembered.
what?
Go Mrs. Go, because they took it off Netflix. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Womp
She just missed herself out.
womp. You'll never be free.
No.
But you know what the best part about weekenders is? You can put them on when you're at work, because you don't have to pay. Because like everything
true, I should
happens
do
so
that.
slowly that like they're like sort of like a soap opera, right? Like
Yeah.
if you miss an episode and go back in, you didn't really miss that much.
Yeah.
See, that's really good advice since I haven't watched one before. Like, so when I watched the first episode of this one, I mean, I like watched it like I would any other show, which was totally unnecessary. So knowing that I could kind of go about my business a little bit is probably good advice.
Yeah, and like there's no like big twists and turns that these shows take. Like they're pretty like even keeled for the most of it.
They do tend to. It depends on which one you're watching, right? Like
Yeah.
some of them are some weekenders are very Mac Jang. Like and stuff happens and you're like, where, why, what? So,
I think the biggest thing with the family dramas is that there's so many characters, because also the families are bigger. So like you have multiple siblings, then they're all connected. And that's like the biggest thing to remember, like catching on, like, oh, this person works for this person. That's the love interest of this person.
Yeah.
And then these two are like really close, but they're also like family or cousins, so you don't like catch on to it really quickly. So I think that's the biggest problem, or like the biggest hurdle in family dramas is like, okay, now that I've got everybody like situated, now we can like just watch it.
yeah. So are we going to watch 1,000 episodes, 1,000 kisses? No, probably not. But maybe.
Who knows? Who knows?
Someday, maybe one day we'll be like, hey, what's that? We actually finished that show.
We finished 1,000 kisses. Let's finish it. Let's finish it by the time we get 10,000 listens.
That's our big
All right. So That'll be our goal, is to have watched all of them.
So, this has been another fantastic episode, I assume, of Certified Newness. We hope you have as much fun listening to us as we have talking to each other. You can find us wherever you're listening to us, but also on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, and we love chatting all things K-dramas, K-pop. All right, hope you have a great week. Bye!
Thanks for listening.
Bye.